Hello and welcome to Speaking Football. My name's Tommy Hay and I'm joined here in Madrid by my colleague Ruben Palomero for episode number 105 of this series. Thank you to everyone out there for joining us today. Now, if you're with us on the radio, welcome. And remember that if you enjoyed listening to Richard Vaughan live over the last hour, you can hear more from Richard after this show on La Hora Extra. So as always, stick around. Okay, so for today's program, we're going to be having a chat about some interesting things that have happened in Europe and that will be happening in Europe next week, such as the Europa League final. We're going to be testing each other on some interesting football expressions in English and in Spanish. And we'll end our show, as always, with our weekly press review, where we'll be discussing, among other things, the signing of Erling Haaland to Manchester City, the relegation battle in La Liga Santander, and the imminent invasion of Rangers and Eintracht Frankfurt fans to the city of Seville for this year's Europa League final, which takes place next Wednesday. So lots and lots of things to talk about. First, though, let's begin the program, as always, by revealing the identity of last week's mystery player. Okay, Ruben, you can kick us off with clue number one.
Although he played as a center midfielder, he started out as a striker.
Very good. So although he played as a center midfielder, he started out as a striker. So if you start out doing something, that means empezar, and then plus the gerundio. So empezó jugando de delantero. He started out playing as a striker. So although he played as centre midfielder, he started out playing as a striker. Clue number two, he was voted man of the match in the 2009 Champions League final. So he was the best player, basically, in the 2009 Champions League final. Clue number three, Ruben.
He took the most important corner in the history of the Spanish national team.
Very good. He took the most important corner in the history of the Spanish national team.
Do you know what corner I am talking about?
Of course. I think there was un avión involved, no? There was a plane.
Yes, there were an avión in the equation.
That's it. There was a plane involved in this corner. We'll explain that in a minute or two. So he took the most important corner in the history of the Spanish national team. Be careful with the superlatives. Ruben, you said it perfectly, but I hear a lot of people making a mistake when they're talking about the superlatives. They would say it was the more important corner. No. If it's the superlative, it would be the most important corner. El corner más importante de la historia de la selección española. The most important corner in the history of the Spanish national team. Clue number four. Maradona said of this player, every game he plays is a footballing masterclass. En cada partido da cátedra del fútbol. So every game he plays is a footballing masterclass. Dar cátedra is to give a masterclass, what we would say. And clue number five.
He retired in Qatar.
Very good. He retired in Qatar. Very good. Ruben, who was our mystery player?
Our mystery player was Xavi Hernandez.
Very good, Xavi Hernandez. Now, Ruben was a little bit sneaky. Now, sneaky, I don't know how to translate that. Maybe tramposo, maybe you would say.
Yeah,
sneaky. Yeah. A little bit sneaky with his photo, the photo that you had on Twitter.
Yeah, photo is very special photo because he's wearing a Sevilla shirt, Sevilla's jersey. But you can see under the sleeve the Barcelona jersey. And one of our winners this week knew why.
Okay. That was my next question. Why was Xavi wearing a Sevilla shirt in that photo?
Yeah, because as Victor Alex Garcia, Bruno Martinez, who did it? Koeman. Okay. Koeman, Kuman, said, Xavi Hernandez wearing Sevilla jersey in tribute to Antonio Puerta match.
Of course. So the Sevilla player sadly died. He was the captain, I believe, in that final when they won the UEFA Cup final at Hampden Park in Glasgow. He played in that game, as did Dani Jarque as well. He was the captain of Espanyol. So two players that sadly passed away playing. And so the game that Xavi Hernandez was playing in was like a tribute. It was a tribute to Antonio Puerta. That's very nice. Well, Ruben decided to use that photo just to confuse
Yes.
everybody. But we had a lot of people got the correct answer, didn't they?
Yeah, for example, CBP, siempre aciertas, dice Xavier Hernández, Abel de Dios, sabe mucho, también lo acertó. Víctor Alex García nos dice, the mystery player is Xavier Hernández, the great Xavier Hernández. He was an engine and brain at all time for the Spanish national team. I think that Xavi doesn't receive all rewards and recognized in Spain during his career and performance. Koeman told us what I told you, and Bruno Martin is sharing a gift with Xavi celebrating a goal.
Very good, excellent. So a lot of people got this one correct. Jose Ramon in Laval du Chat said that you may think that this week's mystery player is a piece of cake, pan comido. In English, we say un trozo de tarta. We would say
un trocito de tarta, ¿no?
Un trocito de tarta, a piece of cake. That's pan comido. But in fact, it isn't that easy unless you pay special attention to clues number 3 and 5. So that one that you were talking about, clue number 3, he took the most important corner in the history of the Spanish national team. That's a very big clue. What goal is he talking about, Ruben? The most important corner. Can you remember?
Obviously, the corner in the semi-final in the World Cup when in the descanso, en el descanso
the break,
la primera parte,
the break or the halftime.
Puyol and Xavi they were talking about an specific strategic game.
Yeah.
That they can do in the corner and say, okay, you have to put here, I'm going to do it. It's a word that a game that they usually do in Barcelona.
In Barcelona, exactly.
And next to them, do you know who was? Schweinsteiger.
Schweinsteiger, exactly.
If Schweinsteiger knows how to speak, I don't know
Catalan
or Spanish, I don't know in what language they were talking.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that goal never
would have been scored.
Never would have scored. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's very important to know languages.
Exactly. Yeah. Although I don't know how many German speakers or German players speak Catalan, but you never know. So yeah. So it was this famous goal against Germany in the World Cup, and it was Xavi that we would say he played a quite a gentle cross. It was quite a soft cross in the air, and Carlos Puyol attacked the ball, and Gerard Piqué said that it was like un avión. He said era como un avión. So he said I saw a plane coming, and that was Puyol heading the ball. A very, very famous goal. We've spoken about it before in this show. So that was probably a very, very big clue number 3. Xavi is no doubt one of the best football players Spain has ever produced, says Jose Ramon. What sets him apart from others was his playing football, was his mastery, he says, or his this idea that he was like a master of the game. He wasn't particularly fast, he wasn't particularly strong, but he did have a very good football brain, and that's what he says himself. It was his brain was the most important part of his game. And neither Spain nor Barcelona will have many more footballers as capable and with much vision of the game and accuracy as Xavi. Yep, that's very true. Like, it's difficult to say when people say who was the best ever Spanish player. You know, obviously there are players from the past like Zarra, for example, or I don't know, Pichichi, these kind of players. And then players like Luis Suarez from the early 60s. And then you get onto the new generation, players like Iniesta. I think people talk more about Iniesta as being the best ever Spanish player. But Xavi is there, you know, he has to be more or less, he's in the top.
Yeah, in my opinion, Xavi is like the player that marked the style of the team. Mm-hmm. And in that team, in my opinion, the most important thing was the style. How they played, how discovered a new way to play football that led the national side, the Spanish national side, to win competitions.
Yeah,
because that's one not a team that has 3 great players and they solve the matches. No, they were a team. They are playing in a specific way, very difficult to score a goal, and very, very good moving the ball.
That's it, yeah, and that was the most important thing. This idea of possession. I read a quote from Xavi in a book once. He said, "Cuando no tengo el balón, sufro. When I don't have the ball, I suffer." And I think that's a good way to sort of summarize the philosophy that team had. They were obsessed with having the ball and moving the ball and using the ball. So yeah, they changed football, that team, and they were fantastic to watch when they started. They were absolutely great, and a very good period for the Spanish national team as well. So well done to Jose Ramon and to everybody else who was correct in terms of guessing the mystery player today. Now, we're going to move on to our first section of today's program, which is, of course, our football cliche of the day. Now, a cliche, just in case you don't know, a cliche is something that you hear being said about a place. You obviously, in Spanish, you have this word cliche. You can also say tópico, like cliches about Spain or cliches about Scotland. A cliche is something that we hear a lot in football. It's an element of speech, and it's just something that people say a lot. And our cliche that I have today, that I've chosen, is based on something that Pep Guardiola said, which was, the people want Liverpool to win more than Manchester City. Now, this isn't a cliche, but it's being described in the press as some kind of mind game. Now, mind game or mind games in plural, that's something you hear a lot in sport. So, first of all, let's translate it literally. Mind games would be literally
juegos, como juegos mentales.
Juegos mentales, or literally, yeah, mind is mente and games is juegos. So it's literally juegos de mente. Obviously, it doesn't make sense. So juegos mentales. If I said to you juegos mentales in Spanish, would you understand what I'm talking about?
Sí, son juegos mentales.
Juegos mentales is what you would say. So to play mind games. And would you say jugar juegos mentales or hacer?
No, hacer juegos mentales, está haciendo juegos mentales.
In English, we say jugar juegos mentales. Okay, to play mind games. We wouldn't say to do mind games, to play mind games. So Pep Guardiola is playing mind games now. If you don't know, it's very close at the top of the English Premier League at the moment. There are only three. They're actually equal on points as we're recording this, but Manchester City have an extra game. They have an extra game. So this is an interesting thing. Guardiola said the people want Liverpool to win more than Manchester City. La gente quiere que gane Liverpool antes que nosotros. Okay, it's very, very interesting. He was asked this question in a post-match interview, and we're going to listen to a clip from this interview, and then we're going to comment on these mind games. So Pep Guardiola here, he's asked, do you really believe the whole nation wants Liverpool to win the title? So it's an interesting thing. So what do you think about why is he saying this? Why is he saying that people?
I don't know if this happens in England, because I think in British are usually support the local team more than Spain.
Yeah, example, so the British usually support the local team. They usually support their local team.
Yeah, for example, in Spain, people are usually support Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid in that order. And it's common to find people from Valencia supporting Real Madrid or Barcelona, and the second team is Valencia. Okay, Levante. But I don't know if it's so common in England that. Because I know people from England that they are from a team from the second or the third division, and they are from that team. They don't support another teams. And I don't know if the sentence is, I don't know enough about British football in order to say if that's true or not. In Spain, maybe.
It's interesting because mind games are a part of British English football culture, like any other place. You know, managers play mind games all the time. But I think the reason that people were surprised at this is exactly what you say, the suggestion that fans of other teams are going with another team. It doesn't really happen in England. If you support Norwich City, that's the only team you support. You don't have a preference. In general, you don't have a preference between Manchester City or Liverpool. Likewise, if you support Manchester United, you probably, you don't like either of those teams. Your local rivals are Manchester City, but your biggest historical rivals are Liverpool. So they won't have a preference either. And I think I think you're correct. In Spain, people have their local team, but then they have a preference between what we would call the big two, Real Madrid and Barcelona. But that just doesn't happen in England. So I think that's why people are a little bit surprised. But I liked an expression that Guardiola used in this audio clip to say no pasa nada. No pasa nada. So give me a way that you would say no pasa nada.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Very good. I don't mind. Another thing you could say.
Right.
It's not important. He said it's not an issue. It's not an issue. Now, issue, you probably have heard that as like un tema complicado. It's a complicated issue. But if you say it's not an issue, that means no pasa nada in English. That's another way to say it. So Guardiola is doing very well in his English. It's not an issue. And the context was, si la gente quiere que gane el Liverpool antes que nosotros, no pasa nada, es normal. If people want Liverpool to win more than us, it's not an issue. It's normal. That's what he said. Jurgen Klopp, the Liverpool manager, responded with a little bit of surprise to this news. He said, it's not the feeling I get when we go to other places. So I like this. No es la sensación que tengo. Now, we wouldn't say it's not the sensation I have. Sensation is like a physical feeling, you know? You could say I have if you're talking about maybe a pain that you have in un dolor, you would say I have a painful sensation in my hand. Okay, it's a physical thing. But if you want to say la sensación que tengo, we would say feeling, F-E-E-L-I-N-G. So he says, no es la sensación que tengo cuando vamos a otros estadios. It's not the feeling, it's not the feeling I have or the feeling I get when we go to other places. He says it's actually lo contrario. How would we say lo contrario?
The opposite.
Yeah, exactly. The opposite. Yeah. So he says it's actually, de hecho, it's actually the opposite of that. And then he says, quizás, maybe he knows more about that than me. So he's a little bit ironic, I would say here. A little bit sarcastic, Klopp. But it's an interesting thing. I think Guardiola tries to play mind games sometimes, and Klopp he doesn't participate in mind games. He never does. He's a very calm person. It's not like here in Spain, you know, for example, like if you think about mind games between managers in Spain, who's the worst? I would say Simeone is very bad for mind games, no?
I think, for example, this kind of games, I remember the mind games between Alex Ferguson and Arsene Wenger, or Guardiola and Mourinho. And now, Simeone did it, especially did it. And I think the only one, because Ancelotti and Xavi, they are not doing right now.
No, they don't. It seems like it almost, I don't know if it's a question of respect or something like that, but I remember the Mourinho Guardiola is the most famous sort of period of mind games that I've ever seen in football, even more than Ferguson and Wenger. You know, I think Guardiola and Mourinho was so intense and so almost violent at times, you know? Remember that famous press conference where, I can't say it on the radio what Guardiola said, but he used a palabrota, used a taco, used a swear word to describe when he was talking about Mourinho. He said, you are the, you know, and that never happened between Ferguson and Wenger. They never did that. So I don't know. It's interesting to see, but Klopp does not participate in mind games at all. Well, really good. Excellent. So we've learned a couple of new expressions there. We're going to move on to the next part of today's show, and it's that time of the week where Ruben and I once again test each other's skill as language learners with a little game that we like to call Play on Words. Now, Ruben, I'm going to write down my play on words for you because it's almost impossible to understand it unless you read it. Okay, so I'm going to write it to you here. Do you have words for me today?
Yes, I have them. I have them ready. We have two different words. The first one from Spain, and the second one for Argentina. I know you love it.
I love Argentinian football expressions. So, you can start if you would like. You can start by giving me a Spanish expression, and I'll try and guess it in English.
I am going to give you the first word because the first word is a moment and check it out. Yes, hacer agua.
Hacer agua.
Now, hacer agua. Wow, we are going to make water.
We're going to make water.
Or to build water, to do water, whatever you want. But in Spain decimos hacer agua.
Hacer agua. Okay. Now,
Y te voy a decir una cosa.
Okay.
Normalmente la gente muchas veces dice hacer aguas.
Hacer aguas. Okay.
Pero
Right.
dice la RAE, no, mejor di hacer agua.
Right, okay, hacer agua. Now, you're gonna have to help me here with some examples because to make water doesn't make sense to me. To make water, I wouldn't say that in any circumstance.
No confundirlo con hacer aguas mayores o menores. Eso es una expresión que se utiliza para decir to do poo o to do pee.
Really?
Number one, number two.
Okay.
Hacer aguas menores, to do pee. Hacer aguas mayores.
We say to do your business. To do your business is what we say.
Yeah,
Hacer tus negocios. Yeah, if you say
business.
that, like, you know, it's something that maybe you say to children, you know, do you have to do your business? It means you have to do, or we when it's like animals as well, to do your business, but it's nothing to do with that. It's not something you do in a football pitch. Okay, give me an example.
I'm going to give you a sentence, okay?
Okay.
La defensa hizo agua.
La defensa hizo agua. Now, that's an interesting thing. So, would you say it's a negative thing?
Yes, it's a negative thing.
Hacer agua. Now, that's interesting. Now, is it anything related to, for example, is it anything related to boats, like a maritime kind of expression? Like, what's the origin of the expression?
Well, a ver, es una expresión que está asociada a otro tipo de cosas. So you can say that expression not only playing football in other ways. It's very common to hear it in this case. For example, the sentence I gave you is very common to say la defensa hizo agua, but you can do it in another ways of your life.
Right. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to get this one because, well, I don't know. It maybe not the exact translation, but we say, do you know how to say gotera in English?
A leak.
Very good. Exactly. Leak. So the same, the same pronunciation as like apio,
puerro.
¿no? Puerro, sorry, yeah, puerro. Sorry, not apio. Apio
y una gotera se dice igual.
Yeah. Puerro is leek, L-E-E-K, and apio is celery, that's right. And leak, gotera, is that. So if you say that something is leaky, I'm writing this down for Ruben as well, leaky, it means that it has it's problematic. You know, it's a problematic sort of thing. And in football English, we can say, for example, you use the example of the defense. Can you give me that Spanish sentence again?
Sí, la defensa hizo agua.
La defensa hizo agua. Okay. Now, I would say that you could say that the defense is leaky. The defense is leaky. Now, I think it means that it's like débil. No, it's weak. It's not very good. Would that be correct?
Yes, it's correct.
You're going to give me the point. You're going to give me the point.
Sería como leak. I'm going to give you the point. Yes, because es algo así como que cuando un equipo, una de sus líneas, presenta debilidades o síntomas de fracasar, ¿no?
Right. Okay.
Entonces sí, bueno, sería algo parecido a eso.
Exactly. So yeah, we would say it's a leaky defense. You know, it's like this idea. Imagine it's a boat, you know, and it has a leak. You're going to sink. You're going to hundir. You're going to sink. You're going to go down. So this idea, the defense is leaky, is what we would say.
Yeah, sería traducción. Leaky sería hacer agua, sería a leaky defense.
That's it. And it's nothing to do with a puerro. It's to do with a gotera.
Very good, Tommy. Very
losing
good.
Water. Fantastic. Very good. Excellent. Hacer agua. I like it. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I'm going to give you quite a difficult one.
You send to me the word. We are going to start with the first one.
Okay. The first word.
Swashbuckling.
Swashbuckling. Wow. Swashbuckling.
To back es un cubo. No, es a bucket. No, bucket es un ciervo. Es un ciervo, un pavo, ¿no?
A buck, yeah, a buck is like I believe it is like a horse. It's like a horse, like a we'd say like a potro, like a male horse. Vale. Yeah, but like
sí, como los swash, no sé lo que, I don't know what it is.
Okay, I'm going to pronounce it just so the listeners can hear. Swashbuckling. 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 That's a really difficult thing. Would you like some kind of would you like to do you like me to give you a context or maybe a clue?
It is what is it? It's a noun, an adjective, a way of being, or say do you say
Interesting. So
well,
it would.
can you give me a sentence?
It's an adjective. It's an adjective.
An adjective. Okay.
Yeah,
can you give me a
swashbuckling.
sentence? So it's an adjective. Can you tell me a player or a gaffer that be swashbuckling?
So a player or a gaffer, a manager that is swashbuckling. Well, we would say, for example, I don't know what to give you too many. I think Jurgen Klopp, for example. Jurgen Klopp is swashbuckling.
Wow.
Or you could say his. It's more about the reason I said is because it's an adjective and it's also a way of being. I would say it's a style. So swashbuckling is something that you can say. But if I give you any more clues, I think you'll guess it. Swashbuckling. So again, SWASH BUCK LING.
How do you use in a sentence or in a headline?
Liverpool contrató. Liverpool hired Klopp partly, en gran parte, partly, for his swashbuckling style.
Vale.
Swashbuckling
Could
style.
be a style too. Could be a style. I'm going to say that Klopp is very brave, is very intensive with their teams, is very fun too. But I think I'm talking about how they play. It could be something that it has something who is brave or something like that. It's brave, playing football, is offensive, something like that.
Well, I'll give you the definition. So a swashbuckler is a type of movie. It's a type of Hollywood movie. And the definition, according to Wikipedia, is swashbucklers are one of the most flamboyant Hollywood films. Unlike cinema like vérité or modern realistic filmmaking. So it's not like it wouldn't be like Almodóvar. Almodóvar is not swashbuckling. Swashbuckling would be like some kind of great adventure, like for example, Mission Impossible is a swashbuckling film, or you could even say, for example, some cowboy films, the John Wayne and things like that, or for example, Heat. Have you ever seen Heat with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro? Right. So this idea of having big adventures, big exciting moments, spectacular things that directed by Michael Bay, perhaps, would be swashbuckling film. So if I use that in a football context, what do you think I'm talking about? A swashbuckling style?
I think he's talking about something very brave, exciting, offensive, something like that.
That's it, exactly. So if you have a swashbuckling style, it means aggressive, exciting, fun, so Jurgen Klopp's teams have this style. I think he's probably the most swashbuckling manager I've ever seen in football, because it's just so exciting. I think a journalist once called it heavy metal football. And it's this idea.
Rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll. It's exciting, it's brave. So you say swashbuckling style. That's exactly what we
swashbuckling style.
Very good,
do you like swashbuckling style?
not of movies. No, I don't like Michael Bay. But in football, I like it. Yeah, I like exciting football. That's it. Absolutely. Well, we don't have much time left before our break, so we're going to take a quick break now. And in the second part of the show, we're going to have two more words in Spanish and in English, and we're going to see who wins this challenge. Stick around. Okay, Ruben, we are going to move on to our second part of today's show, where we are guessing the different football expressions in each other's languages. So we're currently tied, empatados. We're currently tied at 1-1. You guessed the meaning of the word swashbuckling, which means exciting, fun. It's interesting that if you look it up in Google Translate, swashbuckling translates as bravucón.
Bravucón, sí.
Would you ever say los equipos de club tienen un estilo bravucón?
Sí, bueno, sería un poco raro. Bravucón se atiende más a personalidades.
Mm-hmm.
Es una persona bravucona, es que muy hecha para adelante, muy,
Muy echa pa'lante, I like that.
muy
Very,
hecha para
very
adelante.
forward, very like almost arrogant, no? Very like
Sí, sí, un
full of
poco, un poco.
himself. To be full of
Sí,
yourself, you'd say,
yeah,
bravucón.
yeah.
But if you use it as a style, that's what we say, un estilo bravucón. It just means un estilo muy agresivo, a very aggressive style, a very exciting style. So swashbuckling is the word that we use there. SWASHBUCKLING. Ruben, you taught me the expression hacer agua, which would be, it's a negative thing, or hacer
Yeah.
aguas. Does it
Bueno, es
depend?
que en español se usa mucho hacer aguas, pero si lo
Hacer
buscas en la
aguas.
RAE te dice que digas hacer agua, no hacer aguas. Si
Okay.
haces hacer aguas, estaría más relacionado con ir al baño.
Exactly. So to do your business, no? As we said.
Cuando algo hace agua, es que se viene abajo. Y hemos encontrado su sinónimo, que está cerca de la gotera, to
Yep.
leak, ¿no?
Yeah, leaky. Yeah. So if
Leaky.
you, that's it. So we would use the adjective leaky. The defense is leaky. You would say la defensa hace agua, no? The defense is leaky, means not very good, has lots of weaknesses. Very good. Okay, well, I'm going to give you another word that. Oh no, is it my word? No, it's my word now.
Yes,
Give
it's
me
your
give me a
word.
word in Spanish.
Yeah,
And
I'm
we're
going to
Argentina.
give you an Argentinian word. I love you, love them. Yes,
I do.
because the word is apilada.
Apilada. Apilada.
No te pierdas la apilada de Tommy. ¿Qué podría decir si tú hicieras apiladas?
Apiladas.
No te pierdas la apilada de Tommy. Has hecho algo jugando al fútbol que se llama apilada.
Apilada. So it's an action, it's a type of, and it's a thing, I'm guessing.
It's something you can do playing football. Y mira, I am going to give you example of players very good doing apiladas.
Okay.
Maradona, Messi, and even, for example, I remember the first year of Luis Enrique, the Spanish national side, in Barcelona, and I say, no sabía que Luis Enrique hiciera estas apiladas.
I didn't know that Enrique could do these apiladas. Now, interesting. So Maradona and Messi. So I think of dribbling when I think of those players. I think of runs, desmarques, runs. I think of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else. Apiladas.
Ronaldo Nazario hacía muchas apiladas también.
Okay, Ronaldo as well. So it's like, Ronaldo Nazario. Cristiano Ronaldo, not so much.
Cristiano Ronaldo, no tantas, yo diría. Yo diría que no tantas.
Not so many.
Not so many.
A
ver, cualquier jugador puede hacerlo, pero no es fácil hacer apiladas.
It's interesting that. Okay. And that's a really difficult thing. So it's an attacking move, no?
It's an attacking move, yes. It's an attacking move.
Right, okay. I'm trying to think who else. Ribery, would Frank Ribery be good at these?
Yes, too. For example, this week, Dembélé did algunas apiladas.
Dembélé did some as well.
I'm thinking about a recent member. It's not easy to do it, but there is a specific player with a specific characteristics that they can do them.
Right, okay. I don't think I'm going to get this because all I can think of is something very basic, which is regate, which is a dribble, a type of dribble or a run, as we would say, to make a run or to dribble.
Te puedo dar una pista definitiva para que la aciertes.
Tell me, because I'm going to, estoy a punto de rendir, I'm about to give up.
Te voy a decir una frase, ¿vale?
Okay.
No te pierdas el vídeo de Di María apilando jugadores.
Okay, right. Okay, so I would say maybe what we said a little while ago, to skin players. ¿Qué
significa skin players?
To skin is literally when you sort of beat players. You know, regatear a un jugador is to skin a player, we would say. So to dribble past players, I'm guessing. Is it something related to dribbling?
Yes, I'm going to say yes. Exactly. Apilar jugadores es regatear bastantes jugadores, entonces vas como apilándolos. Es muy no, metafórico, ¿no? Es como ir poniendo uno encima de otro según les vas regateando, ¿no? Es como vas apilando jugadores.
We do the same thing to skin players. Exactly.
Skin players.
So like if you want to What would the verb be? The pellejo is the skin, no? So despellejar.
Sí, despellejar.
Despellejar. So in English we say despellejar a jugadores for apilar. So literally it's when you dribble past lots of players. Like for example, Maradona against England in 1986, he skinned 4 players and the goalkeeper as well. Yeah, you can say he skinned them. So he dribbled past them would be a neutral way to say it. Maybe it's a bit more respectful, I think is a good word. It's a bit more respectful. Fantastic. Thank you.
Tommy.
That was a big clue. Two out of 2. Okay, so your second one, I have it here. What is the second word that I have? I think it's easier than the last one. Pile driver.
Pile driver.
Oye,
pile no es apilar.
Well, pile is like un montón.
Un montón.
Yeah, un montón. For example, there is a pile of, there's a pile of clothes.
Pile of things, no?
Pile of things, yeah. There's a pile of clothes on the floor in my son's bedroom, okay, for example. Teenage boys have a lot of piles of things in their bedroom because they're very messy. They're very unorganized. Okay, so pile is P-I-L-E, which means un montón. And driver
es un conductor.
Conductor. So montón, conductor, pile driver. Does that make sense to you?
No, any sense. But pile driver, it's how a player can be. It's an adjective.
No, it's a description of an action. Vale. It's a description of an action.
But a pile driver, if you put together this word, es un conductor de pilas.
No.
¿Puede ser alguien que maneje algún tipo de vehículo?
It is. So you're on the right track. It's una máquina. It's a machine.
It's a machine. Okay. So a pile driver is a guy who drives a kind of machine.
Nope.
No,
it's the machine.
The machine.
It's the
pile driver is the machine. There is a machine. Okay. Pile driver.
If you're in the street and there are obras, there are works going on, you will see people with a pile driver.
Could be like a machine that make a hole or something like that.
It's a drill. That would be
drill machine. A drill. So pero es una máquina que sirve para algo.
Yeah, it's close. It's close to a drill.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, can you tell me a sentence?
I'm going to give you the Spanish translation of the machine. Okay, the machine in Spanish is martinete.
Martinete.
I
don't know. I don't know Spanish.
Well,
martinete.
The martinete. Basically, it's if you are wanting to put something into the ground. If you want to set something into the ground, you use a pile driver. It's similar to a drill, but it's like when you're putting things on the road, you use a pile driver. So it's a kind of machine. Okay?
Pero eso es como para aplanar la tierra.
No, it's like, for example, los trabajadores clavaron el palo en la tierra usando un martinete. Okay, so the workmen drove a pole into the ground using a pile driver. So it's a very powerful machine. That's a clue. For example, the goal of Clarence Seedorf against Atletico Madrid.
Yeah, I remember it. From the middle of the pitch.
From the middle of the pitch, yeah. It was a pile driver. Di Maria's goal against France in the 2018 World Cup was also a pile driver. It's something that we use. So to score a pile driver. A pile driver. I think it's a big clue.
When you score a goal from a lot of far, very
a lot of, from very far, no? From very far.
From very far.
When you score a goal from very far, it's I'm going to give you the point. It's like a very powerful shot. A very powerful shot.
But for a huge distance, no?
It could be from close. Like you could be at the edge of the box, for example, the frontal. You could be at the edge of the box, the edge of the area, and you can score a pile driver. It's not so much the distance, but it's more the power that you generate. So again, I don't know, would you say un trayazo in Spanish?
Sí.
Un trayazo. Like a really powerful shot, just a very powerful strike. And if you look it up on word reference, it just says un tiro, but it's not the same thing. it's un tiro like muy fuerte, you know, very, very powerful. So I would say like un trayazo or something like that. A pile driver.
A
Yeah,
pile
it's called a
driver.
pile driver. I'm going to give you the point though, because you were more or less on the right track. So we'll call it un empate. We'll call it a draw today. 2-2. Really good expressions there. So really fantastic. Well done. Okay, now we're going to move on to the part of the week or the part of the show where we discuss what's been happening in the world of football in recent days. And that means that it's time for this week's press review. Okay, so Ruben, I have quite a lot of articles here today because it's a big week in football. We've already looked at the Guardiola situation where Guardiola was playing juegos mentales, mind games, with Jurgen Klopp. We're now going to look at another thing, pardon me, that's just happened in England. And today I want to take Spanish titles and I want to translate them into English. I think it's a good exercise for expanding your English vocabulary. So the first title is Haaland rumbo al Manchester City. Guardiola ya tiene a su deseado 9. Okay, so first of all, Haaland rumbo al Manchester City.
You can say Haaland goes to Manchester City.
Exactly. So that's nice and simple. And I often say to people, when you're speaking English, no te compliques la vida. Don't complicate things. Keep it nice and simple. So you think rumbo a. How do you say rumbo a? Oh, you know the meaning. He's going to City. So just say that. Haaland goes to Manchester City. Rumbo a, to be rumbo a place. In English, we would say to be on your way. To be on plus possessive and then way. To be on your way. So if it was Haaland rumbo al Manchester City, it's going to be third person, singular, masculine. You would say Haaland is on
his way to Manchester City.
Very good. Haaland is on his way to Manchester City. Fantastic. Guardiola ya tiene su deseado 9. So deseado, you could say desired. You could say desired. You could also say, but it doesn't really translate in English. So we would probably say something like Guardiola has the number 9 that he was looking for, que estaba buscando, that he was looking for. So Haaland on his way to Manchester City, Guardiola has the number 9 that he was looking for. El Club Citizen, they haven't translated that, El Club Citizen confirma el acuerdo con el Borussia Dortmund. Acuerdo, what do we say for acuerdo? Deal, fantastic, very good, deal. You can also say agreement. Agreement, yeah. But deal is perfect for football. So the citizens, you probably say the citizens is the nickname, the mote, the apodo of the Manchester City fans. So the citizens confirmed the agreement with Borussia Dortmund a falta de concretar los detalles del contrato del delantero noruego. A falta de, now what does that mean?
I don't know. A falta de, I'll say, if I had to say that and I don't know the word, they say they are going to close the contract, but there are specific points they are not cleared yet.
Exactly. So a falta de, I would say they only have to. Solo tienen que. They only have to. A falta de. So they only have to concretar, finalize, I would say. Finalize the details of the contract of the Norwegian.
That is very important when you don't know a specific word, try to say the same thing using the words you know.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, when you learn that word, perfect, because you are going to, it's going to grow your vocabulary, but don't focus on saying the specific word. You don't know, you have to think about other way to say the same.
Exactly. Yeah, and flexibility comes with time. But the priority when you're starting to speak English, or when you have an intermediate level of English, or maybe if you have an advanced level of English but you're not sure how to translate something, keep it simple. No te compliques la vida. Keep it simple and just do that, and you'll communicate perfectly. So very good. So that's Haaland on his way to Manchester City. Very good news for Manchester City fans. Going to look at some bad news now. The second article we have is about the descenso in the Santander, La Liga Santander. So I like this. How would you say descenso? Begins with R.
Drop.
or drop, drop or relegation.
Relegation. Yeah.
So drop is like dejar caer, or if you want to say cuando algo se te cae, you can drop something. For example, I dropped the glass. Se me ha caído el vaso. I dropped the glass. In the context of descenso, it would be the drop is what we say, the drop or the relegation. And we often say the relegation battle, the batalla or the lucha, para evitar el
to avoid the relegation.
Exactly, yeah. So the fight or the battle to avoid relegation or to avoid the drop. Alavés y Levante pueden bajar a segunda esta semana. Alavés y Levante pueden bajar a segunda esta semana. Rubén, try and translate that.
Alavés and Levante, that's good, can drop this week.
Good, can drop this week. Or can go down.
Go down this week too.
Can go down this week. Or we could use the what's the word I'm looking for? The impersonal, not impersonal. I've gone blank. Me quedo en blanco. The passive. That's the word. The passive. Okay. Can be relegated. You could
can be relegated this week.
Yeah, both pasiva. That's it. The passive voice. Me quedé en blanco. I went blank. So you could use the passive voice. Alavés and Levante could, I would probably use the conditional, could go down, could be relegated, or could drop this week. That's what you could say. Now, I have a question for you. Baba Zorros. Baba Zorros.
First time I heard it.
Yeah, I've never heard of Baba Zorros before. So Baba is like spit, no? Like what comes from your mouth. Yeah. And Zorros is foxes.
Foxes, yeah.
So Baba Zorros, spit foxes.
First time I heard.
Any Alavés fans listening, you're going to have to explain that one to me on Twitter. The spit foxes and the granotas. Now, I know about granotas because my girlfriend's family are all granotas. They're all Levante supporters. So granotas is rana, frog in Spanish or in Valencian. So if you want to say, I don't know how you would translate this. The Baba Zorros y los granotas, the spit foxes and the frogs.
I think you can translate that. You have to say Baba Zorro and granota can lose the category this week and say goodbye to the first division.
Very good. Exactly. So lose the category. I would just say again, I would say to be relegated. Be relegated. Do you know how to say salvar la categoría?
You can save the
no,
the furnitures.
No. Save the furnitures. No.
You would salvar los muebles.
We would say quedarse arriba is what we say. So to stay up. To stay up is what we would say for salvar la categoría. To stay up, to stay up or to go down, perder la categoría. So use any of those verbs to go down, to drop, or to be relegated is what we say. Well, as a Levante supporter that I am, I hope that Levante can stay up, but it doesn't look very good. Despite their good win the other day against Real Sociedad, which was a fantastic win, but maybe a little bit too late. Now, we're going to talk about something now which is a little bit closer to home, both for me and for people living in Spain. La otra Feria de Sevilla. Now, we've just had the Feria de Sevilla, the Feria de Abril, the April fair, or the April party, which actually took place in May this year because of the Easter calendar. Now, they're talking about La otra Feria de Sevilla, the other Seville fair. What is the other Seville fair that's about to happen?
It's going to be the final between Eintracht Frankfurt and Rangers.
Exactly.
They're going to play the final in Seville.
Very good. They're going to play the final in Seville. And Ruben did a very good thing there. Seville is the name of the city.
Yes.
Seville. Sevilla is the name of the football team.
Yeah.
Now, we do this with Rome as well. Rome is the city and Roma are the football team.
And if you're talking about a football team, you have to speak in plural.
Yep, that's true. Exactly. Yeah, totally. Yeah. So Sevilla are a good team. Betis are a good team. But Seville is a beautiful city. I hope it's still a beautiful city next week because 100,000 hinchas del Rangers tratan de viajar o intentan viajar a la final de la Europa League, according to Diario AS. So what are we saying? 100,000 hinchas?
Supporters.
Supporters, very good. Is that not a Latin American word, hinchas? You would say aficionados, no?
Aficionado, sí.
In Spain, that's
sí.
it. So 100,000 hinchas de Rangers tratan de viajar, intentan viajar. They're trying to travel to the final of the Europa League. Y la mayoría sin entrada. How do we say entrada in English?
Ticket.
Ticket, very good. La mayoría sin entrada. La mayoría no tiene entrada. So we would say the majority or most of them don't have tickets. Y otros, and another 100,000 of Eintracht Frankfurt have asked for a ticket as well. They've asked for a ticket, han pedido un ticket, una entrada. La Copa ya en Andalucía. So Andalucía is going to have the final of the Europa
It's
League.
going to be a great business for Sevilla's commerce, pubs and bars and restaurants sector.
I think it will be. I saw somebody saying on Twitter last week when Rangers qualified for the final that it's going to be a very good day for Cruz Campo. The beer is probably going to be the best day in the history of Cruz Campo because it's going to be absolutely crazy. Some of the stories coming out of this fixture is absolutely incredible. Just before we go into the mystery player, I have to comment on this. Rangers fans tried to book hot air balloon to Seville amid soaring cost of flying. So a hot air balloon is un globo, no?
Es un globo, sí.
Un globo, like the big.
Globo aerostático.
That's it. Yeah. So the big massive balloons that they used to use to travel in the end of the 19th century. The people have been trying to travel to Spain with a hot air balloon because planes are too expensive at the moment. So people are trying all sorts of crazy things to try and get to Seville. We'll see what happens if they will be coming, whether it's by car, by plane, by train, by bus, or by hot air balloon. A lot of fans are coming. So I'm actually trying to figure out if I can get a ticket for next week. I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't even know if I'll be able to travel to Seville because it's just so expensive and crazy. But you know, it's once in a lifetime, so we'll see what happens. We'll have a quick chat about that next week before the final takes place because there are lots of interesting things to talk about. However, it's now time just at the end of the program where we don't have too much time left. So we're going to give you the clues for next week's mystery player. Okay, Ruben, clue number one, please.
Number one, he played in Germany, Spain, the United States, and Qatar.
Very good. He played in Germany, Spain, the United States, and Qatar. Clue number two, he started playing football for San Cristobal de Los Angeles, which is an area of Madrid. I believe.
It's an area of Madrid.
An area of Madrid, yeah. San Cristobal de Los Angeles. Big clue there. Clue number three, Ruben.
He called one of his children Jorge after Jorge Valdano.
So exactly, if you call somebody, pardon me, if you call somebody en homenaje a alguien, we would say to name somebody after.
Qué fácil. O sea, cuando quieras decir en homenaje a Ángel, solo tienes que decir after. Es genial.
Yeah, like nombrar después is what we would say, literally for en homenaje a. So he named one of his children Jorge after Jorge Valdano, the Argentinian football legend. Clue number four, he played at 3 World Cups, 1998 in France, 2002 in South Korea and Japan, and 2006 in Germany. So 3 World Cups. And clue number five, this is an interesting one.
Yes, this is very, very interesting because we were talking about that this week because he was famous for his ability to chip the ball, but I say it's not exactly that. By scoring and scooping the ball over the goalkeeper.
Very good, exactly. So he was famous for his ability to scoop the ball over the goalkeeper. Now you said golpeo de cuchara.
Yes.
De cuchara. It's true that we say scoop. If you've ever ordered ice cream in an English-speaking country, you'll notice that it says scoops of ice cream is what you have because they use a cuchara, they use a spoon to get it. So the golpeo de cuchara, if you don't know what it is, look it up on YouTube. This player was very famous for his ability to scoop the ball over the goalkeeper. So I think there's a lot of very good clues in there. Really, really great player, this guy, one of my favorite players when I was growing up. Anyway, if you think you know the answer, remember, write to us on on Twitter at speak_football_, and you can let us know who you think the mystery player is. Thanks to those of you who have joined us today. And if you're listening on Vaughan Radio, remember you can stick around with us here for La Hora Extra with Richard Vaughan, which starts in a few minutes. Thank you for joining us as always, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.